Yeah.
Or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead. Yo. What's good? What's going on, guy?
¿Qué te pasa?
How you been, my dude?
Been chilling.
How you sound? You sound good?
I sound good, yeah.
You need
I
a
like
little
it.
bit anything?
No, I sound good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Chucano Podcast. Today it's just Jake and I. We're a man down today.
What up?
How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Fucking work was crazy this week, as you know. We had a fucking wild ass week. A lot of fucking work, huh?
A lot of work. A lot of tires need to be built. You know.
You know what? Somebody's got to fucking do it, man.
Right? Shit.
But we got this is a special episode, man, because we got a cool announcement, huh?
Yes, we do. We're partnering up with Chronic Grub.
Chronic Grub.
They're going to hook us up with a couple of free meals for you guys. You know, we're going to pick the winners from the subscriber section in our YouTube. And if you guys want to visit the website, it's chronicgrub.com. They have like food. It's birria tacos. They have birria fries and nachos and a bunch of good grub. And there's another website too, and they have their candy there. I forgot the link of this one right here. I think it's
So Chronic Grub. These are good friends of Chucanos, and they started their own food. I guess it's kind of like a food, like special food, like the birria tacos. It's typically with goat, but they do it how?
They do it with beef.
Okay.
They do it with beef. So I'm not too sure if they're going to dabble into the goat anytime soon, but yeah. And the other website is going to be Little Sweeties EP. They right there. They have their candy with chile. This is Skittles with some chile. So you know we'll if you guys either want Chronic Grub or the candies, you know, we're gonna give away the giveaway from there.
So Chronic Grub, they make food. They're starting out.
It's a fresh hustle. Yeah, it's a fresh hustle.
It's a fresh hustle. They're hustling straight from their house. Basically, you go on their website, which we'll have the link in our description.
Yeah, it's chronicgrub.com.
And you go ahead and you order during the week.
Yes.
And then they prepare the food and everything, and then you pick it up on the weekends.
Yeah, you pick it up, and then they might have some delivery options, but it's not guaranteed to be delivered.
Typically, if it is possible to qualify for the delivery,
it's going to be after 6 p.m. Yeah,
okay.
After 6 p.m.
And these are good friends of ours, guys. Please check them out, help them out. They're starting out a good hustle. They got a really great menu. Is there any alcohol in these birria tacos?
There is no alcohol in the birria tacos.
No, that's just the way that's the type of tacos that they're prepared.
It's a Cali staple, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know we get to try it here in Texas. You know we're Texas boys over here.
It's beautiful. What kind of salsas and stuff do they got, man?
They got their aguacate salsa. Of course, they got their yellow sauce, the secret yellow sauce. They got the chile de árbol.
Okay.
And they also give you some onions and cilantro with your tacos.
Then that's on the side in case people don't want it.
Yeah, that's on the side. So you know they give you little lime wedges too. So
awesome.
You know, feel free to add that citrus if you'd like.
So they do tacos. What else do they do, man?
They have burritos there, man. They have
oh shit,
the birria burritos. They have birria fries. They have birria nachos. Pretty much anything in the category of birria, they have it. You know, with their food.
That sounds fucking beautiful, man. And we're gonna have pictures of the food. And we're also going to have a picture of the menu, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a local thing, man. Help out the local scene, man. Anything local. Support anything local.
Hell yeah, man.
All right. So let's try these out real quick.
Okay. I'm down. Now, this is...
I'm going to go with that red sauce.
You're going to go with the red?
Yeah.
Now, if someone's allergic to avocado, technically...
It's not aguacate technically. She told me it was made from their secret vegetable concoction or ingredients. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna try that out. See what it tastes like. Yeah, man, they look great, man. They got like the melted cheese in them and everything, bro.
I'm a red sauce kind of guy right there.
You know, we're spoiled here in El Paso, man. We got fucking great Mexican food here, man. And there's a reason why we're the Mexican food capital of the U.S.
You want to try some cebolla?
I'm good. I'm going to try this like this. All right. Oh, hell yeah. You know, this would be great for like a like a little get together at the house and stuff, and just be like, hey, fuck it, you want to cook? Like, nah, not really. Let's just grab these fucking tacos, man. Everybody get a hit and stuff, man. This should be perfect, man.
It is really inexpensive. This right here, it's $8, and then they have their birria fries, which could feed 2 people. So this meal right here could feed Jake and I,
Yeah.
and all together with the candy and everything is like $20.
So you're talking like the loaded fries, the video fries, which is just as big as this container. It's got all the stuff plus like sliced jalapenos and everything, all cool.
Yeah.
Then plus the sweets for dessert and the tacos. We're talking $20.
$20.
That's what it is.
20 to $22, right there. They'll hook it up. It's plenty of food, and you guys will be satisfied as well. But what I want to get into right now, what's up with this whole, what did they call them? Off-world planets, off-world fucking crafts.
Oh, dude, yeah.
What's up with this, man?
What do you think, man? What do you think? Why? First of all, why is the government even mentioning this now? They could have mentioned it a long time ago. I'm gonna get us some napkins. I'll be right back.
What I think about that is that they're slowly working us up to do a full announcement. You know what I mean? So, in a sense, they're just lubing it up before they stick it in. You know what I mean? Or, I was watching a podcast and they said that I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
If they come back and say, "Oh, you know what? This was just a mistake. You know, we didn't mean to put this out."
Wow.
You know, it's interesting, man, and I'm excited for more information, and I want to know what's really going on, how long they've been here, or is it new, or
Oh no, I don't think it's new at all, man. You know what? Because I remember hearing accounts from the former Prime Minister of Canada talking about that they knew what was going on, and that we had been working with extraterrestrials for a good while, and also maybe a couple of years ago, back in those times when we were chilling with Mikey and all them, back in those days, I remember Russia coming out with a statement saying, yeah, we fuck with them. We fuck with extraterrestrials. It's what it is. I remember them just like blatantly coming out and saying that shit, which we know that out there in Antarctica, we've heard theories that Antarctica is a base for the Greys, and that during World War II they found that out because the Germans were trying to get down there to set up some military bases there, and guess what? It was already occupied.
Yep, they were fucking they were met with force, and they
didn't mess with it.
They didn't mess with them. They returned and yeah, it's a tripped out thing. The same thing with the moon, you know. We're supposedly we did make it to the moon, but we were told not to go back. But from what I heard just recently, actually, that they're gonna actually make attempts to go back to the moon and mine it. So I know Russia and China sped up the process to get I know China already has a rover on the dark side of the moon, and they're gonna actually go to the moon and actually mine volcano caverns, which is a tripped out thing because China, where they mine their metals, according to the source, which is Bright Insight, he said that 90% of our precious metals come from China, and within 20 years they'll be completely depleted.
Oh shit!
So we have to actually go somewhere else. You know, who knows how much is that true? I don't know how you could scale that. You know, how can you say like, oh yeah, in 20 years, yeah, you're gonna be completely depleted.
Yeah, I don't know where they. That's the thing about that type of information. They never give you the full information. Like, okay, how did you guys come up with these numbers or this and that? You know, I think they just try to give us the gist of what they can say and what they can't. For me, I would think if they had to go mine the moon, I would think they were looking for a specific element that isn't available here on Earth. Because if you remember, maybe a couple months ago, we were looking into the we were looking into the story of Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
And Bob Lazar was an engineer who claimed that he worked on extraterrestrial vehicles that that the United States had acquired through certain different ways. Some of them they found buried, and some
Ancient,
of them, And basically, he was assigned back in the early '90s, late '80s to reverse engineer their propulsion systems. How do these things move? Now, he said that it had a lot to do with something called the element 115. Now, picture this, guy. Picture this. If you can control gravity, what can you do?
You could do a lot more, of course, yeah.
Anti-gravity, you can levitate, right?
Yeah.
Anti-gravity. But say you want to get from here to there. You intensify the gravity, and now all of a sudden, propulsion systems, the way we know, and like aerodynamics, that shit's out the fucking window, man. Because it's all about where you gonna focus that gravity and get there, or opposite.
The way I understood it, I'm not too sure if I grasped the concept correctly, but they compared it to like a bowling ball on a mattress, right? Like that's like pushing you forward as opposed to driving you forward, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not. That's how it is because in order to create gravity, you need a lot of mass. You know what I mean? And in order to have a lot of mass, you need like a planet. You know what I mean? Like,
if there was an element that you could actually harness the capabilities of gravity, which we don't have right now, but we've heard a lot of stories. We've heard a lot of time traveling stories and stuff. Me and Guy, we're really into a lot of conspiracy theories. We're into a lot of a lot of interesting stories that have to do with extraterrestrials or paranormal and things like that.
Yeah, it's to me it's a very interesting topic. A lot of the I don't necessarily completely 100% believe in everything, but it's a cool way to wrap my mind around. I like to actually sit there and come up with my own theories and stuff like that. This is not necessarily true or whatever, but it's a fun way to entertain myself. I don't know how you feel. You feel the same way about?
Well, it used to be a little bit more of just fun. But now, if we look at what's going on right now, and the government's like, yeah, you know what? We got vehicles that aren't from this earth. Like, they just said that. Like, when have they ever said that? They've always denied. They've always denied. They have an actual federal association called Norad, and they're the ones that look into all the crazy stories, and they investigate all the crazy stories that anybody in the air will attest to, if whether it be military or whether it be civilian, like at the airport, like, hey, we saw these lights or this and that. NORAD's the association that investigates all that, and maybe they put it under wraps and all that stuff. So now, all those stories, and now in 2020, Trump's like, we're going to start a space force. We already know that according to a certain kid in England who hacked certain federal files, that we had ships that were USS this, USS that, but they weren't the tanker battleships that we have in the ocean. They were for up top. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they kind of ran the same military code for Navy, but for the space. And that shit came out maybe like 15 years ago, or maybe even more than that. And now we're talking about, we're gonna set up a space force. Well, they've kind of already been doing that, and they found like a lot of names and stuff of like captains and stuff. Like, they don't belong in the military.
Yeah. So is it a branch of the government? Of course, right? It's gonna be a branch of that, but like, that's the whole thing about them like trying to go mine the moon. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, exactly that what you said. I know they found titanium on the moon, so I don't know if they're trying to acquire a mass amount of titanium, but it's kind of curious, and I wonder, like, I mean, like, what if it could be a ruse? You know what I mean? What if it's a way to fool the public again, and just be like, you know what, this is another way of control, and that's one of my fears is that it's just a ruse.
I think it's a lot of distraction right now because Hillary's in court and all that stuff, and they need to flood the media, and usually they typically do that with what? School shootings.
Yeah.
Right now, that's not a possibility right now.
Well, I mean, school's back September 17th or August 17th.
Around there.
Yeah.
I guess it's depending on the school.
And district. It's an election year, so that's even makes it more a little like fuck,
Yeah. And it's kind of scary that our own president is actually even saying like, "Hey, we need to push back this election, blah blah blah. This mail-in ballot stuff's not gonna work. I'm gonna get cheated."
Yeah.
So I mean, what does he know?
What does he know that we don't? What is your opinion on that? Because at this point right now, dude, I have no trust at all whatsoever for either side, Democrats or Republicans. I have no fucking trust on either side, and I trip out how the media. You know, they did it with Bush and they did it with Trump. You know what I mean? They made him a fucking monster. And, you know, like, is that the true enemy right there? Or is the government, like, legitly, like, fucking corrupted? Is the fucking media also corrupted? They all have their own agenda. They want to push their own fucking shit. That's the worst part, man. We got these lobbyists, you know, promising certain things for certain fucking sides of the government. And they're just splitting us apart. And it's divide and conquer. And, you know, you fucking idiots don't realize that. It's like they're splitting us apart. And like that's the worst, and that it's scary. You know what I mean?
A lot of people claim that it's China and Russia doing that to us.
Yeah, because we're consistently putting our fucking dirty hands into other regions of the world.
A lot of them, a lot of people believe that it's China and Russia trying to divide us, coming in here and sowing seeds of separation for us and things like that. And you know what, man? I legitimately don't put it past them.
Yeah.
Because we've done a lot of fucked up shit to them, too,
of course.
bro.
Yeah. We're in everybody's affairs. I mean, it's a whole fucking entanglement of bullshit that, you know, our leaders have entangled us in. You know what I mean? And it's just...
People never talk about it, man. But there's a lot of information. And if you do your research, I mean, Vladimir Putin has straight up said, like, the Rockefellers are wanted. Why? Because they went and they fucked with Russia's Wall Street. And so there's a fucking green light or red light or whatever you want to say on the fucking Rockefellers' heads for fucking with the Russia's fucking Wall Street, man.
Yeah.
What's the point? What's the thing? You know, the whole race to the moon that we did back in the 60s.
Yeah.
That was all to
I think we bankrupt Russia, right?
To bankrupt Russia. Yeah. And we did.
Yeah.
And we did bankrupt them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were the first up there. They sent a dog and all that shit. And poor R.I.P. that little dog, dude. Like, he never fucking came back. You know what I mean?
I know they sent a chimp. Didn't they send a chimp too?
I think we did.
Yeah.
We sent a chimp, but they sent a little dog, and they were the first ones, man. You know, I think it was called Sputnik or whatever. Don't quote me on that shit because it's been a while since I read all that shit. But they sent the fucking dog and all that shit, and we were like, nah, fuck it, dude. We're going to try to fucking whoop these dudes. And you know what? We ended up fucking bankrupting them to come up with a space program. I mean, back in those days, bro, like, our cell phones have more technology than the rest of the world had at that time. Okay? So now that we have this type of technology, why aren't we doing that race now? Now, everything's defunded. NASA's not a part of America anymore. NASA is a private organization.
It's not a global thing?
It's a private organization. It is global, but everybody's a part of NASA. China's a part of NASA. Russia's a part of NASA. Other countries are a part of NASA right now.
Would you be would you be afraid of a one world government?
Yes and no.
I kind of feel like perhaps, maybe, possibly, it could be a good thing.
Yes.
But then at the same time, like, if it's a one world government and we have one type of currency, you know what I mean? What does that do to our dollar? You know, of course, you know, I know Bitcoin and what is the other one?
Bitcoin and
the digital currency. Fuck, I'm drawing a blank. Cryptocurrency.
Crypto, yeah.
Cryptocurrency.
Well, yeah, Bitcoin's a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, but Bitcoin is digital, and crypto is actual. I don't know who makes them, the Germans or the Swedes. I don't know. It's an actual form of currency.
Well, technically,
I'm not too big on that. You know who I want to talk to about that? I would love him to have him on the podcast is Matt Systrom.
Yeah,
he's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, he is.
And like he could fucking talk for hours, and I could only grasp to a fraction of what he's saying.
Shout out to our boy Matt. He's a former Los Chucano, man. He used to play horns for us. He used to play alto sax. Good buddy of ours. He's been in that game since the beginning, man. He's been in that game since the inception of it, and he's a hustler, man. And he's still doing his thing. And he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life.
Extremely nice,
super knowledgeable. You know, super knowledgeable on all that stuff. But let's define digital currency. I mean, we all have a credit card now. When do we ever like carry physical cash now?
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like I think the majority of currency is digital now. You know what I mean? Like the actual amount of cash is somewhere like I think in like 3 trillion, like spread around the United States and of course all over the world. But yeah, I think the majority of it is actual digital currency.
Smarter people than us are going to have to figure out exactly. If we went into a one world government, guy, that's because we are part of the Galactic Federation.
Yeah.
Now, the Galactic Federation, we've been told by people who have spoken, who have gotten knowledge about this, where Earth will have to do. You gotta get a little.
Yeah.
Earth will have to do its will have to serve its purpose within the Galactic Federation.
This is just a theory, by the way.
It's a theory, but it's very interesting. It's very specific. That they're waiting on us. They're waiting on us to be, I guess, mature enough to be able to handle this information of becoming part of the Galactic Federation.
But we're far from it, dude. I mean, we're raping our Earth, man. And that's what I was thinking about it too. Like I was.
And they're here watching us, dude. They're here. As soon as we got atomic energy, bro.
Well,
as soon as we did atomic energy, all of a sudden, every time we're moving missiles and shit, these people come up and they're like, "What's up? What are you guys doing with this shit? What are you all about?" I mean, when we did that shit and we took some over there to go test on the moon, they were there, dude. They were like, "What's going on with this shit?"
I think that's when they. I don't even know if that's when they first like actually had their eyes on us or we were on the radar.
They've had it before.
They've been here forever. Like I want to get into the fucking Anunnaki thing if you want to get into it a little bit.
We'll get into it in a little bit. Let me make this point and let's get into Anunnaki.
Galactic Federation.
When you think about,
hold on. Remember to make my point about the Earth too.
Okay. When you think about the concept that the Bible has talked about, the Garden of Eden, well, I think the Earth is fucking Eden, bro. It's the only planet in our tiny little solar system that is able to provide life, that is able to sustain life. I think that other terrestrials have actually brought even their own animals down here. I don't think that an octopus or squids, I don't think they're from here. They have alien DNA.
Earthbound planet, yeah. They're earthbound.
And you would think after millions and millions of years of evolution, you would think they would have like fins to swim or anything. But no, they have suction cups. They have a bird's beak. They have one eye. They can
fucking fit into anything.
They can fit into anything as long as their beak goes through. They can change colors to camouflage. They can throw ink. I mean, what are we talking about here, man? And then they say they're fucking super intelligent. So that means that they're aware. They might be sentient, like dolphins and whales and stuff.
Yeah.
They might be sentient beings. So what are we talking about here, man? I think that's a great example of someone bringing something over here that they needed, and they brought it over here because millions of years down there, dude, and you're still crawling. I mean, that's kind of weird, don't you think?
I think that's beautiful, man. I think that fucking animal is a wonder, dude. And
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, man. It's just the way you described it. And the way
it uses tools, dude. It uses tools. It'll take a little coconut and get in there and all that stuff. And that's what I wanted to segue into get a little more information from you on the Anunnakis.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about evolution. We're talking about the Earth. We're talking about specific things. Guys, if you look at it, I don't care what you believe, but if you look at everything that's stacked in a row for us to have the particular Earth that we have, the way it sustains life, it just kind of doesn't seem like a coincidence.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that theory of Sumerian mythology of the Anunnaki? Can you talk about the Earth and the very strange facts about the moon that we know they were kind of like, what's up with that?
It's two different theories, and I'm not too sure which tribal culture actually wrote about a time before the moon. So I forgot where I heard this theory, but according to this theory, the moon was actually brought here from another solar system and was hollowed out to help sustain life on Earth. So without the moon, we can't live. It's a very important to our the way we live. It controls and it actually slows the Earth down, so we could have more sunlight and the correct amount of nighttime. And if we didn't have the moon, our days would be a lot faster, and we'll have less sunlight. As opposed to having a 24-hour lunar, 24 hours rotation, it'll be a lot faster, and also it helps control the tides. So it's a pull. But the crazy thing about the moon is that it's very very dense for our orbit. You know what I mean? So the moon is actually really really big for the size of Earth, and they say that the moon is actually it's hollow. So
you're saying that the moon should be a lot heavier than what it is.
It should
depending
be
on
way
its shape,
heavier. The size of it.
Size.
Yeah.
And depending on, because we already know what it's made out of. We know that it's made out of rock and stuff like that. But you're saying that it should be this dense, but it's kind of hollow.
It's hollow, yeah. And then I've heard some tripped out theories that it's actually a fucking spacecraft, and that's
I don't know. I don't believe in that one.
I mean, like it's fucking cool, man, to think about it. But it could be like like the actual Anunnaki themselves, like on that planet, just like fucking seeing the herd, grow and fucking. I don't know if they influence us, or I don't know if they have the little things, just their little experiments. This is just theories, guys. This is I don't 100% believe in this shit. I just think about it.
This is just a bro science episode.
Bro science all the way.
We just want to give you interesting things that we think are pretty interesting.
So that's that. And when it comes to the Anunnaki, according to Zachariah Sitchin, I believe he's a writer, or he's a.
I think he's a researcher.
He's a researcher?
Yeah.
Or an archaeologist. I'm not too sure if he's an archaeologist or he's just a writer, but he wrote a couple books about the Sumerians, and he dedicated his life to trying to translate what the Sumerian culture left us. And
Sumerians are a race, an ancient race of humans that are credited for technically being able to write down and give us accounts of the first. Yeah, they were the first religion. Or mythology,
they were the first
if you will,
culture to document history, and they had agriculture. They had a nice civilization. And Zachariah Sitchin, his theory is that they were. So the Anunnaki were from a planet called Nibiru, or aka Planet X, and it has the opposite orbit in our solar system, and it rotates into Earth every like 4,000 or 5,000 years or something like that. It's a tripped out theory, and it's interesting. I like to think differently. I like to think that they were already here, and they came from dinosaurs. That's what I think. You know what I mean? I haven't heard a theory saying anything like about that, but So according to them, they were a reptilian race, and they genetically manipulated humans to mine the earth and to pretty much be slaves and stuff like that.
But then again, to mine gold. Correctly?
Mine gold, yeah. Because
for some reason they were using it like for their propulsion systems or for energy.
Yeah,
source.
I think their planet was on the verge of being destroyed, and they needed gold. For some reason or something like that. I don't remember the details.
Yeah.
But I get confused because I hear conflicting stories that they genetically manipulated humans to be slaves, or they genetically manipulated humans to make the Nephilim. And that's another thing too. I don't know if it ties into the Anunnaki, but according to the Nephilim, they were breeds of gods and half breeds of gods and humans, and they were giants. You know what I mean? They were fucking. I think the tallest giant they found was 36 feet tall, maybe even taller. But a lot of people think that aliens made the pyramids. They did this and that. Maybe they didn't. Maybe it was the giants. You know what I mean? Maybe it was the fucking Nephilim. You know what I mean? Like you think about North America. North America had a mass amount of giants and. Yeah. The native people, they killed them because the giants, they were cannibals, and they were destroying a lot of the actual.
So not only do
Native Indians,
not only do Native Americans actually have accounts of these giant people, but there also
in the Bible,
and also in the Bible, there are stories of Nephilims, which was a particular story of David and Goliath, which they claim that Goliath was a Nephilim, maybe.
Yeah, but they say that Goliath was like 11 feet tall. You know what I mean? That's still fucking.
I mean,
huge
that's fucking huge.
That's for but like
you got to remember that 2,000 years ago, man, people weren't 7 feet tall. Like that was very rare. Why? Because they didn't have enough food. They didn't have a longer lifespan. They didn't have the health. Like,
well, I mean, but that's so we know, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
a lot of history has been suppressed, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a tripped out thing how they mention, you know, the Nephilim in the Bible, but only briefly. And of course, everybody knows that the Bible is just a bunch of pieces and parts of, you know, history.
It's been edited so many times.
Yeah, it's like the Spider-Man reboot, you know what I mean? They just, you know, it's they keep rebooting that shit, and it's just like that's why my whole thing with religion. At first, I completely was like, this shit ain't true. I don't believe any of it, and I was extremely skeptical. And now I do believe in a lot of the things that are in there. But like I
not
said,
in the way that it's represented.
I want the complete fucking truth, man.
Yeah,
That's what I want. That's what, you know, I do my half-ass research and just, you know, entertain myself with that.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, I've even read stories that a lot of bones and stuff have been found in North America of giants, and I've heard that they're stored underneath the Smithsonian Museum.
Yeah,
I've heard of that.
I've heard the same thing too.
And if I didn't want that kind of shit coming out, that's where I would put it.
But like,
you know?
my question is why hide all that? Why, you know, like if that's part of our history, why would you suppress that?
Because humans fear what they don't understand.
But it's the reason. The reason why we fear it is because they're suppressed, and like now, hey, surprise, there's aliens. Hey, surprise, there's giants. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of shit like that. But if we can't explain it, then we fear it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that goes back to a core instinct of humans before we were sentient and everything. It's an instinct that we have. Like, hey, we're afraid. Like, what does the government do right now? Does the government say, out of the love for the American people, we're going to do this for you? Out of the love for the American people, we're going to do that for you? No, they say, we fear that there's weapons of mass destruction over here. We fear that this is going on in Russia. We fear. And then what do? Oh, well, that's how they care about us.
Yeah.
That's how they care about us. No, that's not how you fucking care about us. That's how you create a problem, which is a deficit, and you want to correct it by getting our tax money and doing all this shit. So in order for us to agree with them and to give them the permission, which they don't really care about our permission, they just always wanted to make it seem like it's our idea. Oh, don't you think guns are bad? Look at all these school shootings. Yeah, take away our guns.
Yeah, that way they
fuck
could.
No.
Like England. I mean, England, they don't have any weapons there too. I think it's a felony for them if they find you with any type of weapon over there. Even the cops don't carry weapons over there, which is a tripped out thing.
There's a lot of countries that do that kind of shit.
But one thing about, you were talking about fear. I think that's another reason why too they're suppressing they're actually releasing the information about aliens slowly. Is just, you know, so they could soften the cushion, as opposed to like you know, telling us, oh yeah, these are him. We got the Greys, we got these, we got these, we got these,
Yeah,
and
we got the Talls.
Yeah,
we got the, you know,
and that's the reason why I think it, and also too because of religion. If there's aliens, you know, of course, like a lot of people think that, you know, if God created the universe, you know what I mean, of course He created us or whatever, you know, so you don't have to fear losing your religion over knowing that there's aliens out there. You know what I mean? Like that's another reason why I think that
burning chariots in the sky, that's in the Bible, dude. Burning chariots in the sky, what the fuck is that?
No, yeah, and it's a tripped out thing because I've seen a lot of religious art from, like, you know, back in the day, and you see spacecrafts in the fucking art, and it's just like, wow, like that's why are they hiding all this shit from us? You know what I mean? Is it like, would you be, if you were to find out that we were genetically manipulated by another human race, would you be upset? Would you be afraid? I mean, I want to know you guys' opinion. Like, please, you know, indulge me in the comment section. Like, it's interesting topic. You know what I mean? Something cool to think about. Me personally, like if I found out that I was not me personally, but like my ancestors were genetically manipulated to be slaves, I would like to know that. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking interesting to me.
Well,
how would you feel? Let me know how would you feel about that?
Yeah,
and
tell me up in the comments and stuff. Yeah,
I want to know how crazy. You feel about that.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you something. When our ancestors were, when they were interviewed and stuff about the colonization of the white man or the European that came to North America and overtook us and basically mass genocided us for 400 years.
Yeah.
They said, you know, they called us savages, but we had the same dreams that you guys did.
Yeah.
Why do you think we have pyramids?
Yeah.
Now think about that particular sentence. You guys think we're savages, but we had the same dreams that you did.
Yeah, they had the same type of entities, the same type of gods. They had the same type of. They just call them different names.
Now we've known that sometimes, and if you do subscribe to the idea of extraterrestrials, we do understand sometimes, or we have heard before, that they talk to us telepathically.
Yeah.
Now, when a chief, mentions we've had the same dreams. Now, is that someone influencing our ancestors telepathically? Like, hey, you need to build these according to the stars. You need to do this. You need to do that. And all of a sudden, we're doing this shit on the other side of the world where we have no communication with the other side of the world that's already been doing that. And then they're just as old. Well, I mean, they're not as old because the ancient pyramids of Egypt are fucking stupid old.
Yeah, they're way older than we're told.
But even then, how would we have access to the information or have?
Well, we don't.
Why would we have the motivation to do what they did over there?
First of all, the pyramids were ransacked and all the knowledge and everything was stolen and a lot of it. And the same thing with the burning of the the Library of Alexandria. That's a lot of information and knowledge that was destroyed and lost. And it's a shame that, in a sense, the earth kind of hit a reset button on itself, or maybe somebody hit the reset button on us, you know what I mean? And just, started us from scratch, and we, had to claw our way back, and we started with newer technology, and now we have different, I don't know, is all our technology, is it alien based? Is it, is it backwards engineered? Like, where do we get all half our fucking things? Because I remember when cell phone first came out, and then just a couple of years later we get fucking smartphones with screens that you could touch, and it's a tripped out thing. You watch Star Trek and they had fucking tablets in the Star Trek, and it's just like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like just like Jake said, I mean, were these people subconsciously in touch with certain beings that were putting these ideas into our heads? Because Montezuma, which is one of the rulers of the Aztecs, he was in contact with the deity, and the way he would contact him was through psilocybin, which is mushrooms. They would take mushrooms, and that's where they were mathematicians. They looked at the stars, and
they invented the concept of zero, man.
Yeah, it's a tripped out thing,
and that's huge. That's huge for mathematics, man. Even the concept of math itself is just fucking. Where did you guys get that fucking idea from, bro? Where did you guys even have the wherewithal to even understand complex math, that they were doing, and their architecture, man? Some of that shit is designed down to the fucking T, bro. And it's like, where did you guys get that shit from?
Yeah, well, I mean, they spent a lot of time studying the stars, and that's how they the Sumerians, that they noticed the planets, or I don't know if it was the Sumerians, but they had depictions of fucking all the planets, the way they were. And then if you see, they had giants in their depictions too. It's a fucking crazy fucking thing. And I wish I could be a fly on the wall, or just go back and just really if I could go back in time, if I could travel back in time for a day, I would go back and just witness everything. I want to see what went on. I want to see the truth. Yeah. That's one question I think about every fucking day, is what's our history like? And I don't think enough people really take the time to think about what actually happened. All this whole thing with I never really understood the native side of the American history. You know what I mean? That the native side was
because our story's been erased.
Yeah, and not only that, we're Mexican. Our ancestors come from Mexico. You know what I mean? Which were Aztecs, which were Mayans. They were Olmecs. You know what I mean? And also too, okay, so
we're part of the Aztlan tribe.
When it came to North America, the Cherokees and were they part of the Aztecs too? That were branches that actually took off and became their own tribes and started their own thing? Or I'm curious. I wonder how that happened.
They're distant relatives. If you look at it from a historical standpoint, we came from Asia. We settled on the Bering Strait. From the Bering Strait, we researchers say that we remained there for a couple hundred years, and then it started breaking apart, and we walked over to North America. We populated all of Alaska and Canada. We populated all of America, all the way down. We just kept going all the way down to South America. So we're all one people. Okay. Now, the Aztecs, as far as their affiliation...
You're talking about we're all one people when it comes to Latin people, right? Latinos?
Yeah, well, we're all Asian.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, fucking...
Yeah, we're all...
South America, everybody.
We're all Asian. And islanders and everything, we're all Asian. That's why some of our kids still come out with chino eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people think that, oh man, I'm Mexican. Well, yeah, you're Mexican, but you're native mixed with European Spanish.
Also, a lot of black people. I don't want to say African American, but like they're the Asiatic black man. They were well. If you believe into the 5% Nation of Islam, they believe that the first man on earth was an Asiatic black man, and which is interesting. You know what I mean? I need to do more research on that. And
I have a lot of different ideas on that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of different ideas on that when it comes to evolution, because there was some crazy shit that happened.
Yeah, and then like the whole thing too with the Earth, like was a pole shifted? You know what I mean? Like was
Always.
that the reset? You know what I mean? Is that how the Great Flood happened? There was an actual pole shift, or was it an actual asteroid that hit us and caused that mass flood that hit the reset button?
It could have been both, man. I think there's been a lot of resets. Throughout our 4.5 billion years of existence. We haven't been around for 4.5 billion years, but the Earth has.
We're less than a fucking fraction of the time.
We're a fucking blip on the fucking timeline, and we're here trying to figure it out, because I think if you separated us and you looked at us like the way we look at tigers or the way we look at any other animal, if you stepped back and you looked at us, you would say, humans are a curious species. Humans are self-aware. They're terribly frightened that they're self-aware, and they're always trying to figure out how to complete themselves.
Yeah.
They are a focused type of a species. They will think and think and think and think and think until they fucking find a way to the moon.
Yeah.
They are a sentient beings. They are luminous beings. Okay, and they've been able to manipulate the earth, whereas millions and millions of organisms that have lived before them and are lived among them have not been able to do to the earth. So is that Anunnaki? Is that genetic manipulation? Is that creation theory? Is that evolution, where a single cell organism was placed in the water?
Well, I mean, like,
for a purpose.
I'm gonna tell you where that the whole, okay, it's gonna sound stupid, but where the whole Anunnaki really like sparked my interest and really like opened up my eyes to this whole thing was actually through the movie Prometheus.
Yeah.
So that intro is amazing. So if you haven't seen Prometheus, at the beginning there is an alien that actually sacrifices himself and then throws himself into the sea, and from there, it leads you to believe that that's where that single cell organism came from, is from that alien that he took some something and then he just dissolved and then fell into the ocean and created the single cell organism that created humans. You know what I mean? Is that the Anunnaki doing their thing? But if you look into the Anunnaki, it's a lot deeper than that. There was certain characters. There's Inky. There's I forget their names, but according to that, it's like Inky was like Jesus Christ. He wanted to free humanity. He wanted us to prosper and have our own free will thing and stuff like that. And then that's why the Anunnaki went to war with themselves, because they couldn't agree upon that, or maybe the actually human race overcame them and we destroyed them.
Which is funny, because the actual I'm pretty sure you know this already, but the actual story of Prometheus, according to mythology, was that he came down and gave us fire because he felt sorry for us.
Yeah.
Now I was on National Geographic last week, and I was checking out, like, there was a whole episode about what fire did for us.
Yeah.
And how it changed us, like, forever.
Okay,
how fire,
I haven't heard this.
Fire, the concept that we were able to grasp of being able to control or manipulate fire or to use it as a tool was so groundbreaking for us that it literally changed us evolution-wise, because we were able to cook our food. We were able to defend ourselves from larger prey and animals, because we're not the strongest. We're not the sharpest teeth. We're not any of that shit. But for some reason, when we were able to harness fire, to use it to our ability, it literally changed our minds. It literally changed our physical being. with fire, we're still in a very, very intimate relationship with fire, and now we use it to leave the earth. You know, we're using propulsion and energy and stuff like that, and we're thinking about it, and that all stems from us fucking with fire. Basically, was the story, and it goes into detail about like how fire, like through all the generations, like how we used it, what it did for us. I mean, the fire, and it mentions something called the Great Fire in London. There was a time in London where it actually caught on fire. The structural system and everything was all fucked up, and a fire spread and literally burnt down London. And because it burnt down London, they decided to make preparations. They decided to look at it in a different in an architectural standpoint. They decided to look at everything different, and they ended up creating one of the first modern cities on the world because of that fire. So they changed everything architecture-wise and everything. They all of a sudden they became the blueprint for everybody. Like, oh shit, we can fucking get a fire anytime too. We need to fucking step it up. And everybody looked at London, and that happened because of a fire. It's like pretty fucking crazy. I'm not saying the fucking story right.
Yeah.
But it's just like it even made us think about how we do architecture and stuff. Like it's affected us in so many ways that where would we be without it? Where would we be without that concept, or without being able to use it as a tool? And it's still crazy that, every animal knows about fire and all that, but they don't know how to harness it. They don't know how to use it as a tool. And you got to wonder, was that genetic manipulation on our point, and then we became self-aware, sentient beings? A lot of people say, oh, the missing link. Well, actually, there was a point in our time where a lot of our diet was mushrooms.
Yeah, the Stone Ape theory.
And mushrooms actually enlarged our brains like an eighth of a size in a fraction of evolution time, and we can't figure out why. But I think it had to do with the way mushrooms affect us. And there's still a lot of great properties in mushrooms. They're being used right now for They're being used right now for studies on PTSD, on Alzheimer's. They've actually seen that certain mushrooms will connect neurons in the brain that haven't been connected in over 20 years.
Also, too, they're good for cluster headaches. So, if you ever heard of a cluster headache, it's a notch up from a migraine. Cluster headaches are like almost paralyzing. Like if you get one of those, you can't fucking move, and so. According to
shuts down your whole like nervous system and stuff, right?
If you take psilocybin, it's supposed to help you out, and it's supposed to either mellow it out or completely take away that type of headache. Yeah.
But there's millions of types of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Guys, we're not talking about
the psilocybin, or that's the chemical that gets you high.
But there's millions of types of mushrooms that have different properties, and we've checked out both the episodes of mycologist, which is a researcher in fungus. Paul Stamets.
These are bomb, by the way, Michelle. Thank you, Jay. Shout out.
They taste like tamarindo with Skittles, which is a great combination.
They're actual Skittles, but they put their little secret chili sauce, which is fucking awesome.
See, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
They've sorry, getting back to it. Like Paul Stamets has been the one who came out publicly on Joe Rogan's podcast twice. And explained exactly what the benefits of mushrooms are for human beings. But, of course, the government has been suppressing that.
Well, it's because they don't want us expanding our minds. They don't want us to
suppressing that information.
Think for ourselves. Like I've noticed that I've been taking microdoses of mushrooms lately, and I've noticed my thoughts. I'm getting a lot of clarity. I have a lot of clarity in my mind now. I have a lot of... which I never had. I've always, as a kid, I've always had attention issues.
Yeah.
And I feel like that Shroom Tech and the Alpha Brain is helping me out tremendously, dude. Like that shit right there, it's legit. I've always been kind of a slow dude, you know what I mean? But lately, like I said, I've had clarity, and I could actually like stay focused, and I attribute that to the Shroom Tech and to the Alpha Brain. I want to say it's the sativas too, and I smoke sativas. Like I noticed that
allegedly.
No, for real. Like I do my creativity.
We're in Texas. Allegedly,
my creativity fucking skyrockets. My intellect skyrockets. I feel like a euphoria. You know what I mean? I feel a lot better. But it doesn't. Of course, if you fucking abuse it and smoke all the fucking time. And I feel like it has the opposite effect, and it just makes my mind race.
It'll overwhelm you.
Yeah.
And that's a possibility too, man. I mean, the positive effects that power plants, like organic plants, like marijuana and mushrooms, a lot of the research is coming back, man, and it's basically getting to the point where no one can refute it anymore, man.
Yeah.
It's got a bad stigma, of course, for the the powers that be. They went ahead and they suppressed all this because they don't want us reaching a higher consciousness. They don't want us to.
Supposedly, we're in the age of awakening too right now. So, naturally, our minds, just for the vibrations and the way certain planets are on our solar system, our minds are actually changing too, or actually awakening. And
it definitely has to do with the fact that technology is also helping us there, because we're getting so much information now that we don't even know what's real anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get to a point where we're going to be able to distinguish what's real, because we're going to, no matter what, we're going to have to fucking figure that out. And we all want to. Nobody wants to be wrong. Everybody's arguing about this. Everybody's arguing about that. But where is everybody coming from? Everybody's coming from a place where they don't want to be wrong.
Exactly.
They want to have the right information.
Everybody wants to be right.
Everybody wants to be right. Yeah, I don't want to give you bad information, especially if I'm arguing with you. I don't want to be wrong.
But that's the thing too. If you feel like you're getting bad information, you know what I mean? Like you take that with a grain of salt. It's up to you to tell yourself like, okay, yeah, I believe that or not. You know what I mean? Like,
it's getting to the point where people are subscribing to whatever conveniences them.
Yeah.
Instead of believing in the truth, you're going to believe in what you think. But I can subscribe to that.
But that's the exact same thing.
We're going to learn how to get over that.
Like I have a feeling that any possibility could maybe be true in a way. You know what I mean? Like if your mind could manifest it, it's possible. You know what I mean? Like absolutely. And who knows, man? That's the beauty part of life is like if they didn't have these mysteries and these questions, dude. Like come on, like. Me personally, I don't know how I'd entertain myself. You know what I mean? Because I think this is all interesting and it's a good way to exercise your mind and trip out on some crazy shit. Like there's some dark fucking conspiracy theories that me personally I don't want to touch. I stay away from fucking crazy shit, man. Because like then your mind fucking like me personally. It can affect
your mood. It can affect your perspective on life.
I could be a little paranoid sometimes. You know what I mean? And you hear those the evil dark ones and it's just like fuck that. You know what I mean? And like who knows? It could be misinformation. It could be information just to throw off people and to make people crazy. Who fucking knows? Like
motivation is one thing that's very easy to cover up. Motivation. Why are you telling us about this? Why are you telling us about that? Yeah. Why are you telling us that?
Well, a lot of things is like, why are you not telling this shit? Why are you not giving this information? That's
motivation.
That's what makes people fucking like look way more into the CIA, look into the fucking FBI. I mean, these are fucking government entities that have really really done some shady fucking shit, man. Like it's crazy what the CIA has done. If
absolutely.
The whole crack thing is true, if the whole fucking thing about the AIDS and like it's a tripped out thing. MK Ultra, if you never heard of MK Ultra, that's a fucking tripped out thing that has nothing to do with drugs. LSD, they were fucking dosing Johns, like people looking for hookers. They would dose them with LSD and fucking brainwash them. Have you seen Clockwork Orange? Have you seen that?
No.
They take a violent individual and they fucking brainwash them, to try to become a better part of society, and it's crazy what they put them through. It's a tripped out movie, and it's from England, and it has a lot to do with LSD too. It's just tripped out thing, and this is another thing that I wanted to get into too, because it's an interesting fucking theory, and I'm not too sure if it's been going on for a long time. But I was watching a podcast. One of my favorite rappers, or group rappers.
KRS-One.
No, not KRS-One. This is Crazy Bone.
Oh, Crazy Bone.
From Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
And he opened my eyes to this theory that there were certain corporations that own radio stations that invested into the private prison systems, and they actually they had a marketing push on hip hop music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was, of course, gangster rap in particular. If you remember NWA and all the shit that was going down in the early '90s, late '80s, early '90s, all the fucking riots, all the fucking Bloods and Crips and all that shit. You know what I mean? They started focusing on fuck the police and this and that. In an attempt to influence weak minds to do crime and to be locked up. Why?
Well, originally, hip hop and rap were born out of a music of protest, a music of the people, and then they corrupted it.
Yeah, it was a culture, and it was lyricism. It was making people dance and party, and it was always I'm a better rapper than you.
And it was a voice for the people.
It was a voice for the people.
This is what's going on in our neighborhoods, and that kind of shit wasn't being discussed because it was all about drugs and love and sex and all that shit. Yeah, and then all of a sudden there was a schism, right? There was a change in ideas.
It became gangster.
And now it was like, hey, this is how they treat us down here. They're gonna treat me like this because I'm brown, and it was meant to be a protest. It was meant to be a music of the people, like reggae.
Yeah.
It was meant to be for the people, by the people. And then you're saying that these big companies,
these corporations that own radio stations,
and we're talking about like Clear Channel and all this shit, and we're talking about Ted Turner shit. Yeah. We're talking about the big guys that own.
Not necessarily, you know what I mean? But
they pretty much monopolize.
Yeah, there's 7 like, companies that own all the media, right?
Exactly,
something like that.
And so you're saying that these guys got into. Okay, we see that these people, they're trying to protest and all that. We're going to pervert their message, and we're going to try to influence them.
So, like, every inmate is $1. A dollar sign. I think they have an allowance of like $30,000 per inmate to actually house them in prison systems. Don't quote me on that dollar, but a dollar amount. But that's why they want them, because they make money off of housing these prisoners, and so. This is just my theory, and I mean, who knows if it's true, but like Big Pharma. So now we got a hip hop game. If they're talking about fucking, dropping mollies, dropping fucking, Xanax and bars and a bunch of shit, and the fucking. I listen to all this hip hop, of course, you know what I mean. But I don't fucking. I'm not a pill popper. I'm not chemically fucking dependent on like muscle relaxers and shit like that.
Man-made stuff.
Yeah. So. And I just had this epiphany right now. We're talking about LSD. Back in the day, they were pushing LSD on us too. Fucking the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, all these artists, they were tripping on LSD, and they were really, making it popular, making it aware. So like, was that another attempt to make people take LSD or to have some type of mind control? I don't know. This is just shit that I think about. But
one thing that now that you mentioned again the LSD, there was a man who came out on Joe Rogan who claimed that he did 30 years of research and created a book about how Charles Manson was one of those people who was manipulated by LSD and MK Ultra. And how when they go back and they see that he was on probation and all that stuff, when they look back and they see all that stuff, they see all the shit that he got away with, and they still let him back out. Well, and when he tried to get out there and when he tried, when this author tried to get the information about, hey, if he did this and if he did that, why is he still out on the streets? Why did his probation officer cover for him and cover for a very unhinged lady who ended up committing some of the murders? Why were they able to get out again?
It was one of his psychologists. His name was Jolly West.
Yeah,
and Jolly West was he was also the one that.
Do you remember what episode that was? I'm trying to look for the name so that way I can let everybody know. But I'll just keep talking. I'll find it.
Okay. So Jolly West, he was one of the main roles in this whole MK Ultra thing, and he was the one that was actually brainwashing. Like, okay, so it doesn't really specify what happened with Charles Manson. They think that they just dosed him with LSD, or they probably trained him to manipulate his group. You know what I mean? Because I heard that when he was feeding them LSD, himself, he wasn't taking it. He was just giving them LSD and making them trip, and then I probably brainwashing them at the same time to do these murders.
If you guys look at Joe Rogan Experience episode 1459 with Tom O'Neill, episode 1459, Tom O'Neill, brings up the questions: was Charles Manson a CIA asset?
Yep.
And was he used
Same thing with,
for certain things? Because
Ted
guess
Kaczynski.
what?
Ted Kaczynski.
Because his main objection ended up being that he wanted to start a race war.
Yep.
So he wanted to murder these beautiful Hollywood types and stuff like
And
that.
then blame it on the Black Panthers or something like that.
Yeah, and blame it on the Black Panthers. That was the original thing, but it didn't go
Yeah, it didn't
correctly.
work, yeah.
But was that particular race war idea planted in him from the beginning because he's crazy? Or was that some part of a CIA agenda to stir us up during that time? We're talking about the 60s, man. We're talking about JFK. We're talking about all that shit with Lyndon B. Johnson and all that stuff. It was a lot of discord. It was a lot of crazy shit going down. Of course, the CIA took out JFK. JFK was fucking. JFK was preventing war.
Well,
with Cuba.
There's another theory about that too. That it was actually what's his name? Hoffa, Jimmy Hoffa.
That comes way later.
Yeah, but
Jimmy Hoffa's way later.
But Jimmy Hoffa, I think he had something to do with Kennedy's murder because of Robert Kennedy was actually he was blackballing him somehow with something. But the CIA, man, they've had their fucking hands in a lot of crazy shit, and it's crazy. I mean, do they actually run this government? You know what I mean? Like it's
the Irish mafia.
The Italian mafia, dude. If you guys don't know, New York was built off of the fucking the Italian mafia. You want to like, they fucking built America, man. During the late 70s, early 80s, like all the fucking like that's another thing too. Is like I think they built the Twin Towers, and that's one of the reasons why they knocked them down is because it was the actual mafias that they built them. They had their construction companies, they had their cement companies, they had all that shit. And it's a tripped out thing. That's what they came up with the whole racketeering, just so they could get that mob boss. Because you could only arrest the soldiers, but if you could kind of prove that you know, like, okay, this is the boss and these are the captains or whatever, now they could grab the whole organization. That's why they created the racketeering, which is a tripped out thing, and how these bills are passed or whatever. You know what I mean? But was it for the best? Who knows? You know what I mean? Like,
well, the Irish mafia, they got JFK elected. Mm-hmm. Okay, now when you do certain favors for people, they expect certain things back. Yeah. But now that JFK was in a place of power, he wanted to do good. He wanted to do right. He was trying to help us out. He was smoothing out relations with Russia and with Cuba. You know, and then a lot of people thought that was weak of him to do that, but he was really trying to go in a different way with it. And even Castro asked Russia, like, hey, man, what's up with this kid? Like, he's too young. I don't trust America right now. And they're like, hey, you know what? He's a good guy. You know what? They're probably going to reelect him for another 4 years. So you're going to be safe with America as long as he's there. And Castro was cool with that. And all of a sudden, he gets taken out. Now that has to. A lot of people say it was a CIA job, but it also had ties with the influence of the Irish mafia too.
Was it the Irish or the Italians? Because I know
it's Irish. He's an Irish kid. He's an Irish kid. His dad belonged to the Irish mafia.
They said something about
JFK's dad was part of the Irish mob.
And inside Havana, they actually had certain like bars and clubs that that I think the Italians owned. So
absolutely. Oh hell yeah, dude. No, you got to understand, all those mobs were doing their thing, dude. Like, all of that at the same time, which pisses me off when you think about immigration and you think about immigrants, and you got us being ridiculed and being hurt. Like, oh, poor us. Man, all we want to do is come over here and work our fucking asses off. Ah, boo-hoo. Look at these motherfuckers that came over and fucking murdered and pillaged and did all sorts of shit for how many years, dude?
I think it's that way. It's to create the illusion of the American dream. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, you know what? We got these borders. You can't get in here. It's fucking heaven here. We got this thing called the American dream. You could prosper and you could do whatever the fuck you want, but little do you know, it's just like, hey, if you come here, it's not a dream, dude. It's work. You have to work at this shit. You have to, like really put your foot down and work. You know what I mean?
It's like they say, sad to see the old slave mill is grinding slow but grinding still. And we're just a slave to our bills. We're a slave to our payments. We're a slave to our rent.
We're that's like that Papa Roach song. I love that fucking song. It's working jobs that you hate to buy shit you don't need. It's too bad the world is based on greed. You know,
the things you own you.
Yeah, it's a fucking tripped out thing, man, and it's true in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a slave to my fucking phone bill. You know, I'm a slave to the fucking loans I've taken out. I'm a slave to my credit cards. It's just like, fuck, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and
all of us are.
Yeah, and it's a.
But we're willing.
Yeah, it's a damn shame, and you know, for the government to fucking tax the shit out of us, and you know, like, they're gonna stop. Well, I mean, I think they're having issues right now with the stimulus package and everything, because they're saying that they want to stop the whole $600 a week for the unemployment.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't take unemployment right now, so like, I mean, I guess I'm kind of for it. But people who don't have a job, or people who chose to stay home and not fucking, you know, work and decide to go on unemployment. And
well, a lot of people, it wasn't by choice. But then after their jobs came back, then it was their choice.
But it's a tripped out thing, man. Like after taxes, you know, like that $600 is more than what I make, and you know, like it is more financially sound to be unemployment right now for me, you know, but it's the same thing too. I'd rather fucking get up and work, you know what I mean? I'd rather be at work fucking, you know, feeling my day. I hate what I do, you know what I mean? But still, it's just, I don't want to be home, you know what I mean?
And I mean, it is a little unfair, but then again, when this happens, there's going to be certain people in the circumstance where they don't have a choice. Their particular job is not going to come back.
Yeah.
The unemployment is going to be flooded when this happens. And guess what they're doing with this stimulus? They're doing $2 billion for F-35s, $1.75 billion for an FBI building, $1 billion for surveillance planes, $375 million for armored vehicles, $360 million for missile defense, $283 million for Apache helicopters, and $0 for everybody facing eviction.
See, but that's a tripped out thing. They're arming the fucking military, man. Like,
why are they doing that right now? Why are they going to do this with this bill? Why? Yeah. Because they're going to fucking get to it with fucking China? Because they're going to get to it with Russia? What's going on, dude?
Yeah.
Why are they putting that in the bill? You know, the Heroes Fund that was created by the Democrats. Now, this passed in the House of Congress, which is ran by the Democrats right now. This passed back in April. It's already August, dude. Why are they barely making these adjustments now? And what did they do to tell these guys, hey, you know what? When we do this package, when we do the stimulus package, we're going to have to fucking re-up. And we're going to have to gun up. Why are they doing that right now? Is that why they're telling us about fucking aliens and all that shit? Because they're going to turn around and do this shit?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's another thing, too. It's going to be a ruse, and they're going to be the fucking aliens, and their new spacecrafts fucking flying around and fucking us up. But it's just that...
They're not here to fuck us up. They could have fucked us up already.
I'm saying the government themselves successfully backwards engineered these spacecrafts, and they're going to fucking play them off as actual aliens.
They're here to babysit us, dude. You know, there's been talks, like I mentioned earlier, about the former Canadian Prime Minister, who actually mentioned that they went to a UN meeting, and it wasn't in Germany like it always is. It was somewhere else, and they went, and he walks in, and he looks up, and he sees an extra table that he doesn't recognize, and he sees these beings up there, and they were there in the UN meeting. Now, from what we know, that's the Talls. It's the Greys. Okay? And these are the guys that are like, hey, you guys got atomic energy. You guys got to quit fucking around. Because guess what? You guys got an Eden planet, and we can't let you fuck that up. We can't let you fuck up the Eden planet because...
That's another theory, too, about Eden planet. It's just, I heard it's an actual prison.
We have it that way. Guys, we make up all the fucking rules. We don't have to live like this. Do you understand that we make the fucking rules? Do you understand that it's our ideas that are suppressing ourselves? Do you understand that we have only certain rules that only apply to the masses and don't apply to the tops or people in power? Do you understand that we make these fucking rules and we're over here accepting them like, oh, well, that's the way it is? No, we make the fucking rules, guys. You know what I'm saying? We're Republican, we're Democrat, and what are they doing for us? They're giving us the answer, oh, well, it's because of these guys. These guys don't let us do this. And, oh, well, it's because of these guys. I don't want that. I don't want that fucking answer. I want a fucking answer like, hey, I need to get shit done, and I need these guys to help me out.
It's a fucking divide and conquer thing, man. It's just that...
It's not enough for me to just accept the fucking answer, well, it's because of these guys that we're not doing this. Or it's because of those guys that we're not doing this. That's what we fucking elected you to do? That's what we elected you to do? Just to tell us that it's their fucking fault?
Yeah, and that's
you guys don't get mad about that?
That's the worst part about it is that you know, you guys need to understand is that we're being fucking divided. That's the whole fucking purpose of this shit, is to divide us, man. It's a strategic plan, and it's been in place for fucking years, man. This shit's been unfolding for years, little by little, and now they're being exposed. You got to think about it like this. You know what I mean? If there was an Illuminati, maybe they're fighting within themselves, or there's different branches of their government that are trying to fucking manipulate and control us, and they're just like, fuck that, we're gonna split you guys up, and then we're gonna run our fucking agenda. Or is it another fucking country like Russia or China, trying to tear us apart, essentially? You know what I mean?
We had a caravan last election, which was the mid year elections and stuff. We had a fucking caravan right in October, and then in November we had fucking elections. Does that not fucking make any sense to you guys? Does that not fucking do you not put two and two together? Like, how come we haven't had a fucking caravan since? How come we haven't had a mass exodus of fucking South America coming over here? But it happened during the fucking election.
You're talking about Honduras, right?
All of them motherfuckers that are fucking dictator countries.
Well, hold on. Well, first of all, they were talking about let's build a wall, and all of a sudden now we have a caravan coming towards the United States trying to cross over
during election, guys. It fucking happened in election time. Has it happened since, guys? That's kind of weird. No, you don't think so? That's just a fucking coincidence? How about the fact that when Trump was getting elected, we were fucking fighting about the pipeline, man. We were fucking fighting about the fucking pipeline. And you know what? We asked Obama, help us before you leave. Help us. And he said, oh, man, my hands are tied. And he couldn't do shit either. And then I was watching the news live while it happened. Like, it was like 2 a.m. when they announced that Trump had won.
The episode of South Park.
They fucking said, and I heard this fucking clip and I never saw it again. They said, well, why do you think Hillary lost? They asked the black guy, no disrespect, nothing racial about it. They asked him what happened, and he said, well, the Latino vote didn't come out as strong as we had anticipated them to do. I guess they were too busy with the pipeline.
Honestly, dude, I'm gonna say right now.
And check it out. I never ever saw that fucking. I never saw that clip again, dude. I never fucking saw it again. And guess what? I had fucking DVR and I rewound it, and I fucking I even filmed it and I put it out on my media, on my Facebook.
Yeah.
I never ever saw that shit again. And guess what? What happened with the pipeline? It did fucking burst.
Yep.
It did fuck everything up. And they suppressed that shit too.
Yep.
That happened during election. How come all that shit happened during election time, guys?
Like, I feel like
you don't put that together. Are we just being crazy?
I feel like election years are very stressful, and especially this year, dude. 2020 has been a fuck fest, and like. I mean, we just had fucking riots. You know what I mean? We're about to have this election. He wants to postpone it because of the whole fucking
mail-in ballot,
and he feels he's gonna be cheated. Which, who knows, man? Who the fuck knows? But is there gonna be civil unrest coming from this fucking election?
Absolutely.
Is there gonna be
no matter what happens?
You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna happen, dude? Are we safe with Biden? Are we safe with Trump? Who knows, dude?
Biden is a fucking patsy.
That's what I'm saying too, and I think maybe I don't know, dude. Like, at first, I was with the fucking masses, and the whole Trump thing fucking was like, I was on the same boat. Yeah, fuck Trump, racist, fuck. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, dude, like,
he's dividing us.
Like, it's weird, man. It's just like now the way the media portrays him and the way they fucking paint him out to be this fucking this monster and shit. It's just like, is that true? Like, is it really true? You know what I mean? Is he just a patsy too? Is he just a fucking face for?
But then you see what he did for us with Iran. You see what he did for us with
the
World Health Organization, all that shit.
Like, are they purposely fucking him over just to make him bad of a president? You know what I mean? Like, we're not working together. Our government does not work together, and that's the worst part about it.
Look, he's a wild kid, dude. He's a fucking wild kid. It is what it is. He was supposed to be a fucking puppet on a string that's being ran by the rest of the Republican party.
But he says what's on his mind.
But he fucking went rogue, dude, and he fucking started doing shit.
And honestly,
I do believe that he really did have good intentions. He's just not the type of cat that could really convey what he really wants. He's so old and all that shit.
He's incapable of uniting.
He just came from a different time period, guys, where his father and his mother were really fucked up and they were really crazy individuals, and he came out narcissist and all that shit. Whatever. I'm not making any excuses for him. He's a fucking wild kid. Republicans were like, just like we did with George Bush, we're gonna fucking run everything from the back.
He was a Democrat before, man.
You're gonna be the front. Yeah, he was a lot of shit back in the day. And now he's to the point where he's like, I don't know what the fuck. I'm just like, now he doesn't even know what to do. But the Republicans are in the back, right? So a lot of things that he does well, it's in spite. Like, yeah, he got that done, but because everybody gave him a lot of shit and this and that.
It's like, I'm going to show you type shit. It's like, I one up you, you know, yeah.
So, I mean, that is a fucked up situation to have. But guess what? I mean, he is the fucking exaggerated representation of America. Exactly. Go to Canada. What is Trump? Oh, Trump is what an American is. He's a fucking asshole. Bigot, he don't give a fuck. He's greedy. He's this and that. He is the fucking exaggerated representation of America, dude. Yeah. And we're the ones that fucking threw him in there. We're the ones that are backing him up.
The Electoral College threw him in there.
Of course, which we don't even need the fucking Electoral College anymore.
Yeah, I mean, how you guys looked into gerrymandering? That shit is ridiculous, man. If you guys don't know about it, it's confusing as fuck and ridiculous as shit, dude.
It's amazing how much money a company will throw in
to lobbyists.
They're considered lobbyists.
Yeah,
the company will throw in $39 million to suppress one little piece of an entire bill.
Yep.
Because it'll fuck up their bottom line and bottom dollar. It's amazing how much fucking money they're willing to throw just to fucking get one little piece of a part of a law removed or suppressed. And that shit should fucking be illegal. Big Pharma being able to throw out a fucking commercial about whatever the fuck and go ask your doctor. No, motherfuckers. The doctors tell you what fucking medicine to take. You don't ask your doctor what medicine to take. Everywhere in the world, they don't have that. They don't have fucking pharmaceutical companies throwing out fucking commercials 24/7 on our feeds trying to give us information. The doctor's supposed to give you the fucking information. This is what you need. I'm the doctor. You're the patient. That shit is all fucking money ran by Big Pharma, dude. That shit should fucking be illegal.
Yep.
That shit should fucking totally be illegal.
Yeah.
And when are we going to get sick of it, dude? When are we going to get hip to all that shit?
It's not only that. I think it's with the FDA, man. All the shit that they allow to put in the fucking food, all the chemicals and shit that they're actually do. They put rat poison. They put fucking plastic.
They hardly ever approve.
They put plastic in your food. You know what I mean? Like,
they put rubber that they fucking make tracks on in the fucking bread and fucking Subway, dude. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, dude, it's a tripped out thing, and that's why, like, I've already shifted my diet, but shit, I still fall, into my little fucking, pendejadas or whatever. But I just think people need to start fucking researching things and really, really like open your eyes to your environment. And I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And I'll tell you what, if anybody could fucking give me a badass explanation of the things that we missed and anything, like, I would love to have you on the podcast and you could have the same conversation with us.
I'm willing to. I have an open mind, man. I'm willing to learn about anything. I'm willing to change my stance on fucking anything.
Yeah, same
right
here.
Now, my stance is the fucking Democrats are fucked up. The fucking Republicans are fucked up, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what the good things they do. I'll tell you what the bad things they do, because that's what I fucking learned. Me as an American, it is not my responsibility to give a fuck about a party. It's my responsibility to give a fuck about the American people. We the people. You remember us? Yeah, motherfuckers. We the fucking people. What are you going to do for me? When's the last time you did anything out of the love of the American people? What are you going to do for me? Yeah. That's what I give a fuck. My allegiance, my pride, and everything is to the American fucking people. The Democrats, are you going to fucking do a good job? Or Republicans, are you going to do a good job? Because I'm not going to fucking root for Democrats like I root for the Dallas Cowboys, bro. Win or lose? No, fuck no.
You should look at the individual.
I got to look at both, and I got to be like, what do you stand for?
Yeah,
what do you stand for? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? And the thing that we're not asking ourselves is, what are they going to do to accomplish their fucking lies? How are they going to fucking how are they going to convince the other party to help them do this? Because of our government set up in checks and balances. A Democrat can't do shit unless a Republican says, yeah, you know what, we'll do it like this. Like the Democrats are like, hey, man, you know what, we got to fucking do this for immigration. We got to do that. We got to do this. And the Republicans are like, oh, okay, you guys are just fucking dreamers, man. That shit's not going to fucking work like that. Okay, well, then get together and be the realistic side. Be the voice of reason and say, okay, look, we can do this much and we'll get this done. Okay, well, fuck it. Anything being done, anything is progress, man. Anything is fucking progress. And you should do that out of the love of the American people. The people that are fucking working their fucking asses off and really fucking getting this shit going, man. You guys got to do that shit. I don't believe that any fucking politician should ever fucking make $100,000 a year, dude. You're a fucking civil servant,
it's not
dude.
that. I mean, like 100,000 is fine. Some of these fuckers are making millions, man.
Dude, they don't need to.
Millions, man.
Why? You are a civil fucking servant. We fucking elected you. Why are you in power for 20 years? Why are you in a seat for 30 years?
That's the beauty part, man. It's just these people they use currency to manipulate them, you know, and to pass their agendas, and it's just greed and selfishness that it drives these people, and it sucks, you know what I mean? Like how, like if somebody came up to me and told me like, hey, dude, I'm gonna give you a certain amount of money, you know, just push it, dude. I'll probably accept that shit, dude. I'll probably be like, yeah, fuck these people, you know what I mean? But that's just the selfish part of myself, you know what I mean? And like, it's just a climb up to the top of the ladder type of shit, you know what I mean? That's the worst part, is that we're made to constantly be in some type of not friction, but competitive nature, you know what I mean? We're competitive, and we're all trying to strive to that top of the ladder, and it's just, these people are influenced, and they're highly intelligent. They're just like, oh, fuck these people, you know what? I'm gonna make my money and fuck.
Well,
you know?
check it. Our fucking president makes $60,000 a year, and he can only serve 2 terms, which is a total of 8 years.
Yeah.
Why on every fucking other seat in politics?
Well, I heard
isn't it a lot like that?
After presidency, I know fucking Bill Clinton made billions.
Oh yeah, well they got their hands in all sorts of shit. Fuck all that. I'm talking about what we pay them on our taxes. Yeah. You know what will happen if that shit went down like that? Okay, every fucking seat in politics is gonna be. You could only do two terms if you even get elected, and you're only gonna make $60,000. What's gonna happen? All the fake motherfuckers and the bullshit greedy motherfuckers, they're gonna take off, and it's gonna be regular Joes like you and me. They're gonna be like, I got 4 years to do something. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna try to do my thing, and I'm gonna get the fuck out. What about that?
But what if you get that lobbyist saying like, hey, dude, I'm gonna slide you a couple, 2, 3, 4 million. All you gotta do is just push this bill here.
It's still happening. That's all it is.
You know what I mean?
It's still happening anyways. But maybe a little person will come in and be like, you know what? Fuck all your shit. I don't got any time to fuck with you right now.
But that's why those type of people, they're not gonna accept that type of money to run their campaigns. You know what I mean? Like if that little person and that wants to do good and wants to, they're not gonna accept the lobbyists, and they're not going to get voted because they're not going to have the money to run their campaign.
Well, if that was the actual law for every other politician, that would level out the playing field a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, what they should do is, if they want to do
look at Bernie. Bernie proved that it could be funded. Bernie proved that he could use the American people to fund his shit. He had a lot of back shit and all this shit. Everybody knows all that shit.
If they want to do it, if they want to run it strict, they have to eliminate politicians. They should do fucking bank checks. They should do fucking, you know, like a straight fucking hardcore background, and keep a certain type of what I want to say. Like they anyways, completely eliminate the lobbyists, and then, you know, keep the people in mind. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what is the best? How are we gonna prosper as a fucking race, as a human fucking race? How are we gonna prosper? And that's not in the minds of these people.
Our government was created by people who were oppressed by the British government.
Yeah.
And they said, we're gonna design a government. But that in case our fucking government trips out, the people have the power to fucking check this fucking government.
Yeah, to take an uprising. And that's why we have the right to.
We're forgetting that is our fucking duty. That is our fucking duty as the American people, is to constantly check the fucking government.
The Constitution, yeah.
That is our fucking duty and our responsibility as American people, to make sure that the interest and the well-being of the American people are always on top of the fucking agenda. So what do they try to do? They try to say, oh, well, we fear this, we fear that, and they think they're doing it for us. But all they're doing is selling their fucking weapons. All they're doing is just fucking sowing discord around the fucking world, so that way we can continue to fucking justify why we need this money, why we got to use the American people for this money. A lot of people are like, oh, fuck, man, if we do this other fucking thing, then we're going to be broke. We're going to be broke with a stimulus. This is our fucking money, guys. We're getting our money back to us. This is our shit. And guess what? The IMF, which is the World Bank, it's a bank that will actually give loans to other countries. Every year, they can actually loan up to $149 billion to countries off of the American people's money. Now, we said, fuck the IMF. We're fucking around and renegotiating our deals with them, with the World Health Organization. And that's the money that's coming to us, guys. We need to fucking use our money to help us out. you know what? The world's going through a lot of shit. This fucking pandemic, which is a fucking bioweapon, and everybody fucking knows it. It's so fucking weird. You can't fucking deny it. I got a lot of fucking ideas on that shit. We're not gonna get into it. But that's our money. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to fucking help ourselves out. Now they're going to take off the unemployment and all this shit. It's like, dudes, like, we need to get back to fucking taking care of our shit. We need to be more considerate about everybody else. And we need to fucking just really hunker down and get our shit together, man. What have we been doing, man? We've been fucking working our fucking asses off aimlessly. Without any fucking, subconsciously, we've been working our fucking asses to the bone until we can't work anymore. And then you retire and then you fucking die in a few years.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? What are we fucking doing? What is the type of quality of life that American people have these days? We should really fucking think about that and put that into the election and be like, yo, we're fucking done with this shit. We're done with you guys fucking blaming that guy. And that's your fucking excuse. And that's your answer. You know, what happened when you guys fucking told Facebook, yo, Trump fucking advertisements being bought in rubies and whatever, the Rubiks or whatever the fuck, the rubles, the whatever the fucking Russians use as money. Like, you guys didn't do shit about that. You called them out on TV on a court hearing, and you guys didn't do shit about that. Or what about the dudes with the EpiPens and shit, and they fucking moved their shit up, and they're like, why are you fucking putting that EpiPen up when people really need that shit? They couldn't even justify why they did that shit. And what happened out of that? Can
I tell you a little theory of mine? Bullshit. What if everything that did happen when it came to Russia and if they had any type of collusion with our election, what if it is true? What if it is true and that's the reason why Hollywood and a lot of this pedophile shit is being exposed, is because they're actually trying to fucking drain the swamp? I mean, he talked about the whole fucking draining the swamp thing and all that shit. What if that's what it is? You know what I mean? And who fucking knows, man? This is why it's like dark, and the American people have nothing but fucking straws to grasp at and to create their own fucking conclusions.
It's fucking diversion and smoking mirrors, man. This is fucking CIA 101, man.
It's a tripped out thing, and it's just it's a whole mind fuck. And I'm right there thinking about it with you guys. I don't know if half of you guys are into the shit we're talking about, but like I said, please comment. Let us know what you think and what is your opinion on this. And I want to have the best opinion on this podcast talking about it with us. You want to end it on that note?
Yeah, man, we could definitely end it on here, man. I think we talked about a lot of fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, dude.
And but
it's nothing new, you know what I mean? So
yeah, we're just giving you guys our little bro science and our thoughts and shit, man. But you know what?
Feel free
we're willing to talk
us.
about it. We're willing to change our minds. We're willing to the American people, we have a saying. We say, do not talk about politics or religion. And guess what? That's why we don't know how to fucking talk about it.
Yep.
But guess what? Politics and religion does need to be discussed, but in a more mature way. In a way that you understand that people are going to have different ideas than you.
Yeah.
And you just got to be a fucking grown up about it.
You got to listen. You got to listen and take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean?
Nobody wants to be wrong, guys.
You just got to consider anybody,
nobody wants to be wrong.
We just got to share information. We got to learn to coincide with people we don't,
they have different ideas with.
Yeah.
And guess what? And that's how we're going to fucking learn how to get out of bullshit. Okay? Learning everybody's point of view, coming up with a solution. I mean, we should never stop trying to fucking find solutions. And that's all we got to say about that kind of shit, man. If you guys like this episode or whatever, me and Guy, we got a lot of fucking, we got a lot of ideas about a lot of different fucking shit. We're just trying this out. Hopefully you guys fucking dig it. This is something that we had been talking about for the last 2 weeks, so we decided to make an episode on it. But remember, guys, like we mentioned in the beginning of the episode, we're gonna have like a little draw. Okay, which is going to be sponsored by Chronic Grub.
Chronic Grub and Little Sweeties.
So what we're doing, guys, is if you subscribe to Los Chucanos YouTube page, okay, all the new subscribers, okay, we're going to pick 2 of them. We're going to pick 2 new subscribers from our YouTube page.
From the Chucanos. We're going to do 2 drawings from the Chucano, and then Jake and Lex are going to do another drawing from there.
For Talking Wild with Jake and Lex, which is, of course, under Los Chucanos umbrella.
So total, we're going to do a total of 4 drawings.
4 lucky people are going to go ahead and get some grub from Chronic Grub. All you got to do is just subscribe to our Chucanos page. Please spread the word. Let everybody know. Tell them to hit us up, man. We're local. We're trying to help out local people. We're trying to move up together. We hope you guys fucking dig this shit. And don't forget to hit us up on our YouTube page, because it also has our music. It also has our music videos. And definitely keep helping us out, man. We
Also,
love you
too,
guys.
our music is on Spotify and it's also
Spotify,
on
Apple,
Music.
and Amazon. You guys can check out Los Chucanos, man. We're trying to give you reasons why to like us or why to listen to our music. We really put a lot of thought into what we do. We enjoy what we do for you guys. We represent El Paso, man. And, you know, all we want is just love. That's it. All we want is like, hey, man, you know, Los Chucanos, they get down. That's all we want, man.
Yeah.
And that's all we're asking from you guys. So please spread the word and help us grow our podcast and our YouTube page. Okay.
We're also trying to make our way into the studio as well. So, you know, just be patient with that, and hopefully we have an album coming out soon. You know.
Yeah. Right now with the pandemic, guys, you know, we're not able to book shows and do things like that, and we don't know when that's gonna come back. But guess what? Chucanos are out here. We're trying to put out content. We're trying to stay relevant and entertain you guys, and giving you guys reasons. Like everybody says, listen to my band. Well, why?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you the why on why to listen to the music that's going on in your city.
And not only that, our message, it's a legit message, and it's a legit fucking,
exactly,
you know, like positive. It's positive in nature.
Positive.
You know what I mean? And that's what we need to start moving towards, is more positive content that you need to digest. You know, like I notice a lot of the times when I listen to a lot of, you know, negative music, and like I have negative energy. You know what I mean? So it's just, you guys got to think about that too.
One more thing, and I'm glad I just remembered this. And I had been thinking about it all week, and we went off on some other topics that I didn't get to mention it earlier. But the anniversary of August 3rd is tomorrow, and you guys will see this tomorrow. We'll be uploading this YouTube this Monday.
So yeah, keep the 23 in your hearts and your minds, you know, and show appreciation for that tomorrow. And
23 people were taken out by a domestic terrorist on August 3rd here in El Paso at a Walmart off the freeway. And guy was actually...
I was working at the Cielo Mall, at the mall.
He was working at the mall behind that actual Walmart.
I actually, let me tell you the story real quick.
Hit me, dude. Let's talk about it.
So I went in it was Saturday, right? It was a Saturday.
It was a Saturday morning.
So I had gone in at 10, and I had opened up the store, and at the process, the shooting was actually going on as I'm opening up the store. So I usually go to Starbucks. I would get my coffee, and I would come back, and I see people in a panic. You know, I'm like, what the hell's going on? And the kiosk, people were closing up their kiosks, and I was like, what's going on? We were about to open, right? And I walk into my kiosk, I'm opening up the register, I'm about to clock in, and then a lady runs up to me that works at the mall security, and she's like, you need to leave right now. I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, there's a shooting. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I didn't hear anything, you know? So I'm like, my kiosk was downstairs. I was working at the Verizon, and it's in the main entrance. So as I'm walking out of the main entrance, I'm walking towards Walmart. For safety. You know what I mean? And it's just all the fucking cops and everybody there, all the ambulance dude, masked. A lot of cops, a lot of fire trucks, a lot of ambulances were there at the fucking mall. They weren't at the Walmart. And I'm just like, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? It's just I just wish that never happened. I wish this guy didn't have so much fucking hate in his heart. You know what I mean? And I can't help to think conspiracy towards this. You know what I mean? Is he another fucking patsy? Was there more than one shooter? Was you know, what the fuck happened? You know what I mean? Like, and it's a sad thing. You know what I mean? So you guys keep that in mind tomorrow. You know what I mean? And throw up some love on Facebook over, you know, we lost, you know, some El Pasoans. We lost some people from Mexico, and it's sad, and it's a terrible thing what humans are capable of.
There was a sick kid, okay? And I don't mean mentally sick. Okay, I'm tired of the fucking media talking about, oh, they were mentally ill. It's
a possibility, but I mean, also too,
mental people around the earth, they don't fucking go and kill people. Period. I hate that fucking narrative. This kid was spiritually sick. He was sick inside his spirit. Okay, he was sick inside his spirit for his fellow man. Okay, he was sick inside his heart for the discord and everything that he felt that he was being disillusioned by. Okay, he was sick in his spirit. He wasn't sick in his mind. The fucking kid knew what the fuck he was doing, okay? He came down here He wanted to take out some dirty Mexicans, some dirty Hispanics, okay? He killed a lot of kids. He killed a lot of fathers and brothers and cousins and everything, okay? He was sick in his spirit, guys, okay? He wasn't sick in his fucking head, okay? Mental people don't go out and fucking do evil shit, or else we would hear about that all over the fucking world, okay? Not only in America do the mentally ill go and fucking kill people. No, he was sick in his spirit, guys, okay? He was very sick in his spirit. And he came down here to my fucking city, to our city that we love, and he came and he did a fucking terrible thing.
He fucking ripped us apart.
Now, a lot of people said that day that there were multiple shooters. That's why when Guy got the word that the mall was being shut down, that he needs to go, they were under the impression that the people had ran, that the shooters had ran into the mall. Okay, now that's a part of the conspiracy that, you know, we heard that there was multiple shooters, and then all of a sudden this dude who got away scot-free decided to stop and turn himself in, which is very convenient, very strange. But guess what, man? He had a manifesto. He had all this shit. Was he being influenced by the CIA to do such things? Was he being influenced by a certain fascist group? Who knows? But the kid was sick in his spirit, and he came down here, and guess what? We labeled it domestic terrorism. We fucking did that. You know what? There was a lot of domestic terrorism that's happened in our country, and at least my people said, hey, this is fucking domestic terrorism. He came down here with the intent to kill a certain minority group, and we lost 23 people, okay? And after that, the shooting in Ohio happened, right?
I think that night.
Or the morning after?
It was
the night, right? Yeah.
It was either at, around midnight or actually that Sunday morning.
And our hearts go out to those people too, and we know how you feel. Now, what happened is a terrible thing, and the news, they did their best. They covered as much as they could. They did what they did. At least our agencies, at least they said this is domestic terrorism. And this is a federal crime. And guess what? When you fuck with Texas, you get the fucking death penalty, okay? We're one of the largest cities in Texas, and you get the fucking death penalty. And you know what? He needs to. Why?
It's capital murder, man.
Because that's capital murder, and that's what fucking happens. And these people, they were kids.
That should be 23 counts of capital murder.
There was kids in a T-ball.
They should kill that fucker 23 times.
There was kids in a T-ball team, guys. Little girls and stuff in a T-ball team, doing a fundraiser, like with baked goods and stuff in front of the fucking Walmart. And he fucking gunned them down, guys. What the fuck? Okay? You know what I'm saying? All because they were brown. All because he thought that they were fucking illegal aliens or whatever. There's no love for your human being like that. There's no love for your fellow man when you fucking are so sick in your spirit that you can do that with no remorse, that you can fucking continue to do that. You know what I'm saying? People sick inside their spirits, man. This is a fucking perfect example of that. And I can only say about us. I can only talk about my town. I can only talk about my city. This shit happens all over America. And it's all the same shit. It's all a bunch of sick people in their fucking spirits. They're not mentally. Bullshit, man. I'm fucking tired of that shit. I'm fucking tired of them fucking using that narrative. They're sick inside their spirit, guys. And that's what it fucking is. And we wrote a song called Hometown Prayer. And I wrote it 3 days after the
massacre,
the incident. And we have yet to release it. We were able to record it. I'm not happy with it yet. I want it to be perfect. I want it to be a great representation for El Paso, for our people. But every time we play that song, man, it brings tears to my eyes because it's such a powerful. It came from somewhere pure and hurting inside my heart. And my guys, man, they took that shit and they fucking created a masterpiece out of that song. What they did with that little tune that I wrote. And I want you guys, if you guys really want to hear that song, we'll get back to work on it. We're trying right now. It's a little hard with a pandemic going on. But we're really trying to get that song out, and it's a representation of what happened that day, and how our people are resilient, and how we've overcame it. And there's gonna be a lot of heartbreak, man. It's we're still hurting by it. You know, it took a lot of people, and when you take a lot of people out of the earth like that, man, there's a lot of pain, and there's a lot of asking why. And I just really wanted to take these few minutes to really get into this and our take. We're Los Chucanos, man. We want to represent El Paso. Okay, we're El Paso kids. That's why we're called Los Chucanos. We're El Paso kids, man. You know, and I really wanted to use this platform that we have to really mention and talk about. I don't want to get too crazy on it. That's why we kind of left it towards the end. But that's where we stand on that shit, man. And if you guys are hurting, and if you guys want to talk about it, hit us up, man. Hit us up on our Instagram. Hit us up on our Facebook. Hit us up on our YouTube. You know, let's talk about it together. Let's heal together, man. I'm still fucking hurt by it, you know. And I know that there's a lot of people that are still wondering why, and they're still hurting by it too. And we're here for you guys, and we want to be your voice, and we just want to fucking move on and heal from this shit too, man. And that's all we got to say, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, R.I.P. to the 23 that passed away.
Yeah. And shout out to their families
and their family and their loved ones, and may God, you know, and may Creator watch over them all, and help us all together as a city, as a community, as a people. You know,
and us too as a community, you know, we got to look out for each other. I actually, you know, start having consideration, because I know, you know, during my times, you know, I could become somewhat tunnel vision, somewhat selfish, you know, in my you know, just to heal myself, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to take that time and try to heal yourself, you know, sit down and meditate. You know, a lot of the times I notice that I don't really allow myself to think anymore, you know what I mean? I just, you know, I'm always constantly entertaining myself with, you know, podcasts, music, fucking TV, video games, entertainment. That's all I do is entertain myself. I never fucking think, you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes I just take 20 minutes and I just sit there and I think, you know what I mean? I notice that after that, like, I'll have a little more clarity. I could think a little bit better, you know what I mean? Like, just take the time and think about things a little while. And that's my message for today, I guess.
And that's a fucking great message, man. Yeah. And thank you guys so much once again. I'm Jake. This is Guy.
Peace and love, guys.
We will catch you guys next time. Peace.
I'm gonna.
Bye.